Hey everybody, welcome to Pack 1 Pick 1 number 207. We've made it to the end of Core Set 2020. This is the last Pack 1 Pick 1. Next week, of course, we'll be knee-deep in Throne of Eldraine set reviews, and then the following week, Throne of Eldraine Pack 1 Pick 1s. If you have not seen this video before, I'd be shocked, because, as I said, this is 207. But what we're going to do is we're going to open this pack, we're going to take a look at it, and we're not just going to say, haha, I got these cards. We're going to talk about what we would take if this was a draft. Now, if you go over to patreon.com/ShamanAleek and become a backer at the $5 level or above, you get a chance to get all the cards out of this pack, or none if you don't want them, or some if you just want one or two, or whatever. It's up to you. And this week, that is Eternal Magician who gets to pick. So we're going to crack this open, see what's in it, and see what we would take Pack 1 Pick 1 if this was a draft. Up first, we have Inspired Charge. Inspired Charge is 2 white for an instant. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. If you want to finish the game and you happen to be white, here you go. Works good in red-white, works fine in green-white, works fine in blue-white, but try to stay out of white in general. If it is open, you can get a great deck, but if anybody else is drafting it, you're going to get underpowered, not good stuff. Up next is Octoprophet. Octoprophet is 3 and a blue for a creature octopus. It's a 3/3. When it ETBs, you scry 2. I feel like we've had this for the last 3 weeks, and every time I say, it's fine, I play it. I don't first pick it. Up next is Lavakin Brawler. Lavakin Brawler is 3 and a red for a 2/4 creature elemental warrior. Whenever Lavakin Brawler attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each elemental creature you control. It's good. It's very good. I would first pick this if the pack was awful, which it could be. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not. I feel like it's been a while since we've had, like, even a murder, quite frankly. But yeah, Lavakin Brawler, solid card. This just does, it blocks so well the turn it comes down is the trick. And then it attacks really well, typically. Solid card. We'll keep it in frame, actually. Up next is Blood Burglar. Blood Burglar is 1 and a black for a 2/2 creature vampire rogue. As long as it's your turn, it has lifelink. It's a little bit less good than Mesa Unicorn or Bishop Soldier, I think it was called. But it's still fine filler if you're in black and you need a 2-drop or a creature. There you go. It's fine. It's not great, though, and not a first pick. Up next is Vorstclaw. Vorstclaw is 4 green for a creature elemental horror. It's a 7/7. And that's it. Yeah, if you have elemental synergies, this is kind of okay, specifically if you have Ember Cats, so it can come out a little bit cheaper, or if you have Leafkin Druids, it can come out a little bit cheaper, but there's better things you can do. Get more Brawlers, get more Druids, get more Ember Cats. Try to stay away from the Vorst Claws. Certainly never a first pick. Up next is Undead Servant. Undead Servant is 3 and a black for a creature zombie. It's a 3/2. When Undead Servant ETBs, you put a 2/2 zombie token on the battlefield for each copy of this card that you have in your graveyard, which for me is 0 because I don't play this card. It's really hard to collect these, and it's really hard to actually get them into your graveyard when you want them. And if you're playing this as a 4-mana 3/2, it's awful. And then if you play another 4-mana 3/2 because this one's still on the battlefield, it's still awful. It's just not what I want to be doing. It's really hard to actually go off with these, and I have no interest in trying. Up next is Boreal Elemental. Boreal Elemental is 4 and a blue for a creature elemental. It's a 3/4 flyer, and spells that your opponent can cast that target it cost 2 more to cast. This card's amazing. 3/4 flyer for 5 is fine. 3/4 flyer that costs more to actually kill it, very fine. Boreal Elemental is great. I have first picked it. Like the Lavakin Brawler, I feel a little bad if I'm first picking it, but I think I feel fine enough about a Boreal Elemental that I would confidently put this in frame as a potential first pick. Maniacal Rage is up next. Maniacal Rage is 1 and a red for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and can't block. Not a fan. Just not a fan. The aggro decks haven't fared supremely well in this format. They exist, and mono red is in fact one of them, but I think you just want to go wider. You want to get your Goblin Smugglers, you want to get Shocks, you want to do stuff other than play an enchantment, which can get blown out pretty handily. So Maniacal Rage, just not really a fan. Yeah, if it gave Menace or something, it would go way up, but can't block, and it doesn't really do anything. No interest, not picking it, not playing it. Up next is Boneclad Necromancer. Boneclad Necromancer is 3 black for a 3/3. When it ETBs, you can exile a creature from a graveyard and make a 2/2 zombie. Unplayable if you're paying it with it for not getting that 2/2 zombie. But if you are, it is playable. Not much more playable. It's Octoprophet's best friend because they're both fine. I think Octoprofit's way better, but they're both fine and nowhere near a first pick. Our first uncommon here, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we have a foil. Angel of Vitality. Angel of Vitality is 2 and a white for a creature angel. It's a 2/2 with flying. If you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. And Angel of Vitality has +2/+2 as long as you have more than 25 life. It's fine. A 3-mana 2/2 flyer is totally playable and totally solid. And if you do get +2/+2, this is kind of nutty, but I wouldn't go out of my way. I wouldn't throw Soulmenders in my deck just to get to above 25 life. But if I happen to get there, great. But I'm not going to hurt my deck to try to get there. But I'll play this regardless otherwise. And I think it's a potential first pick contender as well with these 3 cards here. Up next is Overgrowth Elemental. I think another arguable potential first pick. Overgrowth Elemental is 2 and a green for a creature elemental. It's a 3/2 with text that I can never remember what it actually does. When it ETBs, it puts a +1/+1 counter on another elemental. Whenever another creature you control dies, any of them, you get a life. But if it's an elemental, you put a counter on Overgrowth Elemental. I have to read it every time to remember exactly what it does. It's a solid card. Obviously, if you are in elementals, you're going to be getting counters on stuff. Getting a counter on an Embercat on turn 3 off of this is great. And then, of course, when your elementals start dying, this getting out of control is great. I love Overgrowth Elemental. I have first picked it. And it's an interesting conversation here. I still think Boreal Elemental is the clear first pick out of these 4, but I think there is a discussion to be had. Our final uncommon does not add to the discussion. Thought Distortion is 4 black for a sorcery. It can't be countered. Big whoop. Target opponent reveals their hand. Exile all non-creature, non-land cards from that player's hand and graveyard. Why? Why? You don't care about non-creature spells in Limited. Sure, they're annoying, and sure, removal is very powerful, but that's not what the majority of decks are. The majority of decks are lands and creatures. So this may, especially on turn 6, just hit nothing, and you have no real control of what it's hitting. And exiling them from the graveyard means that you're stopping what? A Scholar of the Ages. And that's it. You're not stopping Soul Salvages. I guess you're ripping the Soul Salvages out. It's just, it's not a good card. This is an absolutely unplayable card. I know people frequently say they don't print bad cards anymore. This is a bad card. It is unplayable. You should never put it in your deck. Our rare happens to be Vivien Arcbow Ranger. Holy moly. Vivien is 1 green for a legendary planeswalker Vivien, who's going to kick all these cards out of frame. +1, I don't think I've played her. Let's read this, shall we? +1, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. They gain trample until end of turn. Fantastic ability. -3, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. It bites. It doesn't fight. And -5, you may choose a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, and put it into your hand. That ultimate isn't very good. The typical use case of that is you didn't put a Vorst Claw in your deck, and it's turn 6, and you have Vivien out, and you go, oh yeah, I'll go grab this and cast that. But you're not really going off with that. If you have a very good creature that you can cast, it's probably in your deck. It's probably not sitting in your sideboard. But yeah, Vivien's just nuts. She's fantastic. The counters get out of control real fast. The fighting is amazing. Her casting cost is a little bit rough, but you're pack one, pick one-ing her and going heavy green for sure. So she is currently our very strong first pick, but I believe, unless I counted wrong, we have a foil? It's a Mammoth Spider. Foil Mammoth Spider. It's a 3/5 with reach for 4 and a green. It's solid in this format with all the flyers going around, but it's not going to compete with Vivien. So we're going to take Vivien here and feel pretty darn happy about the start of our draft. If, of course, Vivien wasn't here, I think I'm on Boreal Elemental. I could see interesting conversations about every card sitting here in frame, but I would be on Boreal Elemental. So let me know what you would have taken if Vivien wasn't there, of course, in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me over on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. You can find me on patreon.com/ShamanLeek if you want to become a backer at the $5 level or above and get your chance to get all the cards out of the pack, or some or none, just like Eternal Magician did today. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me. I restarted this. Holy moly, we're time warping here. Let's restart, shall we? You can go over to inkedgaming.com and use the promo code MANLEAK10, all one word, 10 is the number, to get 10% off your order. And of course, help out the channel. And the easiest way, the cheapest way, the quickest way is to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see y'all next time.